Hi and welcome. If you are a Cancer or have Cancer placements anywhere in your chart, or you just stumble upon this reading and feel drawn to it, there might be a message here for you. Okay, let's get a message for Cancer about Cancer. We're just exiting Cancer season now. I'm a Cancer. So what messages do we have for Cancer? I wanted one, but we got two. And we have Mediator and Samaritan. Okay, so the Mediator light attribute is gifts for negotiating fairness and strategy in personal and professional life, respect for both sides of an argument. It's giving Libra energy. So you might have Cancer and Libra placements. And the shadow attribute is negotiating with an ulterior motive or hidden agenda, either personally or professionally. Now, I'm being guided to say you might be dealing with someone that is a Cancer, have a connection to someone that is a Cancer, and some of what comes through in this message may be about someone else, or it might be about you. And it really takes a lot of introspection to see either our light or our shadow attributes. And sometimes we have general attributes that are good, or the light attribute, but we can sometimes fall into the dark aspect of it when triggered in a certain way, or something happens. So it's helpful to know that this is who I generally am. But it's also really, really significant to be able to see in any given moment, in any given interaction or situation, when you might perceive yourself in a negative light, and not be able to see your positive aspects. But also you might know that you are a good person, but not be able to see certain instances when you act out of alignment or out of character, if you're not in your integrity or your highest alignment or being your true self. So the Mediator gives for negotiating fairness and strategy in personal and professional life, respect for both sides of an argument. The shadow attribute is negotiating with an ulterior motive or hidden agenda, either personally or professionally. So you might have some dynamic happening somewhere with someone. It might be work or family or a relationship, where you're either questioning your motives or this person's motives. You're questioning if you're being fair, or are they being unfair, or vice versa. You're questioning, it's sort of like a deliberation. In this card, there's a woman here, and then there's another woman on this side and a man on this side, and she's holding both their hands. And I'm getting whatever situations you've been experiencing is helping you to see when someone has an ulterior motive or a hidden agenda. There might have been people in your life that you thought were on the up and up. You thought they had your back, and you didn't see any shadiness there. And either intentionally or unintentionally, these people do have ulterior motives. They are either with you or engage with you in whichever way because they are receiving something from you, and it's not a purely loving reciprocal relationship. And again, it's really difficult, especially for cancers. Cancers love to love, And Cancers love family. And often the people that we care about, we don't want to see when things are imbalanced. Um, and you might need to see how or where you haven't been fair, even though you are generally a good person and a fair person, or somebody might have been pulling the wool over your eyes, or um, you've judged someone unfairly, and yeah, you're almost reevaluating it. It might be necessary with someone that you are at odds with, to be able to see if you're always seeing their perspective and they're not seeing your perspective, then something needs to change there. And it can go both ways. Either you're giving someone too much of the benefit of the doubt, and this is negatively affecting you, or you're not giving somebody their props, their dues, the respect they need or deserve. You're not being fair towards them, and you need to check yourself. We'll dive into it a little bit more, but I feel like whoever this finds this will know on which end they are. The Samaritan light attribute refines your capacity to help those you prefer to ignore. Shadow attribute, exacting appreciation and recognition for the help you offer. Again, you know, these archetypes are a spectrum, and we can fall um, anywhere on that spectrum generally. And then there are instances when we are on another side of that spectrum. Um, you could be a certain way with a certain group of people, and then be a whole other way with one other person. We have, what do you call them? Acrobats? There's two acrobats on this card, and it's like for this person to let go of their, what is it, trapeze artist? I'm not sure. For this person to let go, um, they have to trust that the other person is going to catch them. Um, and obviously, if this is whatever capacity relationship, if this person keeps dropping you um, every time, and you can get a sense, we have extra sensory abilities, all of us, right? You can get a sense if this person is accidentally dropping you, and in that case you can work on whatever needs to be um, adjusted so that the timing can be right, or maybe it's the lighting, the environment, whatever needs to be adjusted so that this person can catch you. You can work together on solving it, but after attempting everything, if this person is still not catching you, then they either don't want to or they don't have the capacity to. And then you have to decide, okay, am I going to keep this act up? Maybe we need to swap roles and I need to be the one catching, or maybe you should find a new partner, because clearly if the person keeps continuously dropping you in mid-air, then um, and again, it's like some people do some things for recognition, for validation, um, and sometimes you need to realize that if you are on the end where you do things without expectation, without a need for validation or recognition or for anything to come back to you, that doesn't mean you're not deserving of it. Somebody that genuinely cares for you will give you the props, even though you don't expect it and you don't ask for it. Um, and just because you don't, you're a good Samaritan, that doesn't mean you deserve to be treated badly. Someone leaving you hanging all the time. Um, yeah, I don't know if that's making sense, but that's kind of the energy and it's funny because um, I think cancers can have a thing with empathy, where they often, because they are so empathic, because they are so, people will say emotional, but it's just that they are connected to the emotion so deeply, that they're either way too careful with um, their feelings, um, or they are so open that things can get warped. Shapeshifter at the bottom of the deck. Light attributes skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness, ability to see the potential in everything. The shadow attribute, projecting any image that serves your personal agenda in the moment. I always see light and dark as light isn't necessarily positive and dark isn't necessarily negative. I feel like a light attribute can have positive and negative aspects, and a dark attribute can have positive and negative aspects, and there's place for everything. But the point is to bring awareness so that you don't act out of conditioning. So you give the same reaction regardless of the situation. You need to be able to discern, decipher, and see what is the appropriate response. Um, and it's not about shaming or guilting, it's about, okay, I didn't see that. Now I can make adjustment or correction. But if we continuously just react in the same way, in the same way, in the same way, um, you can't grow. That's how sacred geometry works. That's how creation works. You know, it's based off of um, patterns that create new patterns, different patterns all the time to create something, to expand something and create something new. Um, but if we're just going around in the same circle again and again and again, and we do that in our lives and we can feel when that is happening, it's not pleasant. Um, it can be detrimental to see the good in everyone and the potential in everyone without seeing when they are not um, acting in their integrity, or when something is just off, and it can be something major or minor. um, but it's a good thing to see the good in people. It's not a good thing to be oblivious and ignorant and naive to a point of fault. um, and being empathic and aware um, can lead you into situations where you shapeshift and you adjust so much to um, the people around you. It ends up being people pleasing, or um, you lose yourself, your authenticity, who you really are, because in that situation you need to be this way. So you act in that way, and in that situation, um, and we are all becoming more and more sensitive to energy. We can tell when something isn't authentic and honest. And I mean, even something like anger, it's usually frowned upon to express anger. Um, but I would respect somebody that expresses the anger in a healthy way, instead of somebody that masks and smiles at me and pretends to be nice, when underneath there's all this anger happening. which then, when suppressed, is a pressure cooker and is going to explode at some point. Okay, what else do we need to know about this? So we have the Samaritan, the mediator, and the shapeshifter. Don't be a mediator so much and try to be so good to everyone that you lose yourself, that you don't see things for what they are, whether it's good or bad. And then we get into tricky situations, and then it's almost like we don't know how to get out of it. We have the Queen of Pentacles, the Three of Wands. My deck is upside down. And the Emperor. Queen of Pentacles, the Three of Wands, and the Emperor. Someone is waiting for something to happen. So someone has taken control over their life, taken their power back, sort of taken their fate out of somebody else's hands and is now creating their own destiny. And it's almost like this Queen of Pentacles has bossed up, and there's this knowing, not even an anticipation, and knowing of what they deserve, because she knows her worth. And I say her, that's a feminine energy, but whether you are a man or a woman, masculine or feminine predominantly, we have feminine and masculine energies. And again, this can be about someone else or yourself. Take it as it fits. The title card, some sort of contractual agreement. This can be soul contracts. It can be an actual contract like a house or a job, or even a verbal agreement. So someone is expecting something to happen, something to come in, because they have asserted a boundary or asserted they've done something that needed to be done. We have the Hanged Man. It's almost like this person, whether it's you or someone else, didn't do anything for a long time because they didn't have all the information or they couldn't see something clearly, but then they became enlightened about the situation and saw a new perspective, and then they were like, okay, we're not doing that anymore, and either spoke about it or did something about it, and now they are expecting a return of some sort, or what they deserve or what's owed to them. And there is an ending and a new beginning, a big change, a transformation in what? I feel like, obviously this is a general reading, so it will be different for everyone. The Ten of Swords, overburdens. It's like someone is like, I'm not carrying these burdens anymore. I don't deserve this. I'm not doing it. And I'm only carrying all these things because I didn't feel confident enough to know that I have control over what happens in my life. And either someone or people, or there were all these burdens placed on you, and now you're like, So the Queen of Pentacles for me is feminine energy, where it's like the masculine energy would be takes action to make money or is abundant in a masculine way, but the feminine energy is about receiving abundance, receiving tangible things, receiving gifts. She knows her worth. She's grounded, she's stable, she's fertile, she's connected to herself and to nature. Feminine energy and masculine energy works in a different way. Masculine is outward, taking action, giving, and a feminine energy is receptive. And even as a masculine, um, in some instances, you need to tap into your feminine energy. But this can apply to you either as the masculine or the feminine, and you'll know. Um, Somebody needs to receive something that, and not even, she doesn't need it, but she should receive it because it is what is due to her. And then we have the Seven of Wands at the bottom. Somebody's still defensive. So it might be this feminine energy that is standing her ground and she's not budging. She knows what needs to happen. Or someone else didn't want to budge, and so she, as a feminine, needed to get into her emperor energy, so that this doesn't continue on any longer in the same repetitive way that it had been. This can apply in many different, this could be like standing up to your boss because of unfair treatment, or being a mother and needing to be assertive with your children because children need structure and healthy boundaries as much as we do. It could be a love relationship or a friendship, or as an adult child with your parent. It could be many things, but it could be related to money, or just seeing your own internal worth and wealth, and that you are deserving. There's something about this being a lesson in manifestation, and manifestation isn't necessarily a purely masculine or purely feminine thing. It's about balancing our inner masculine and feminine energies. And everything that happens within 2222 on my timer, everything that happens internally will happen externally. As above, so below, as within, so without. So if we don't feel deserving, we don't speak up for ourselves, we don't take action for ourselves, we don't protect ourselves. And when you find yourself in difficult situations, it might be so that you can see your own worth, or see something for what it is, and it can work for you positively for you in that way. And once there's this level up on the inside, there has to be a level up on the outside. And I think that is where I'm going to end this reading, because it feels like that was the message. If that resonated in any way, obviously it will resonate differently for all of us. That's how these messages and readings work. One message can say something to 100 people, and it can land differently with everyone, and still be resonant for many different situations and in many different ways. So if you're open to sharing, if it resonates, please do. And I hope to see you again in another video.